Hi yogis, this is Mike again, back for another little session of yoga. Today we're going to look at alignment of two poses, warrior two and triangle pose. almost skipped me for a minute. So we're going to start just by warming up. We come down to our hands and knees, and a little tabletop position, nice flat back. On an inhale, drop your belly, look forward, little cat-cow. Exhale, back comes up toward the ceiling. Just follow your own breath, nice deep inhale. And deep exhale as your back comes toward the ceiling. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Just nice little cat-cow, get things moving. I kind of jumped into it here today, so as you're getting settled, getting your things sorted out, we're just starting off with a little cat-cow. Join us when you can. And then we come into a neutral tabletop. I'm going to look over my right shoulder, my right ankle, stick that left hip out, just wag the tail a little bit, back and forth. Gives a little lateral bend to the spine, to the ribs. Neutral, walk your hands out in front. Come into puppy dog pose. That's one of my favorite poses here. I like to stretch, get those hips back and stretch through the arms, through the shoulders, through the side body. You can think of it, plant your hands. Now, stretch through the wrist, stretch through the forearm, your elbow, your upper arm, stretch through your armpits. Now, think about your upper back, think about your ribs, all the way to your waist and your hips. Stretch all that. Good. Then walk your hands over to the right corner of your mat, plant your hands and push your left hip back. Breathe into that left lung. And then walk your hands over to the left corner of the mat and push that right hip back and breathe into that right lung. And then come up, back up into a neutral tabletop. We're just going to thread the needle for a twist. Left hand comes up underneath the right, come down to your left shoulder, stack your right shoulder on top of your left. Walk that right hand out in front on the top of your mat. Just stack shoulders. And then you can push yourself up with your left hand, and then neutral tabletop again. Take your right hand and slide underneath your left, come down to your right shoulder. Left arm comes out, stack your left shoulder on top of your right. And then I'll bring my hands back into position. And we're just going to take our, we've done a bit of work now on our spine, getting our spine moved and getting our shoulders warmed up a little bit, but we haven't really done anything for our ankles and our lower legs. So from neutral tabletop, put your right foot out behind and just stretch your calf muscle, your hamstring, push into that toe, your Achilles tendon, and then bring that in. Do the same thing with your left. Really put the back of that knee, I push the back of the knee right toward the ceiling. That helps to straighten out that leg. And then I'm going to come into a Parigasana. And the way this one works is take my right foot out to the side, toe pointed up. I'm up on the toes of my back foot, but you don't need to. You can be on the top of your foot if you like. And what's called gate pose, Parigasana. And right hand on top of right leg, left arm up and over, lateral bend. And then I like to do a twist around where I catch with my right hand my left ankle, or my left heel. So I'm doing a twist with the gate pose. I do an external rotation of my arm here, of my humerus, to where my thumb goes more toward the ceiling. It helps to open up the shoulder with the external rotation of that humerus. And then come back over with that left arm, rotate that right foot right toward the center of the room, maybe not center room, but alongside your mat, whatever, right toward the front, and see if you can put a little weight on the outside edge of that foot. It's kind of hard, it depends on the flexibility of your ankle. If you have a block or something, this is where a block would be nice. I don't have a block, but come up and over for a little side stretch. Now, the alignment of this, you can see long between my ankle, my foot, right up through my side, right through my arm, and out to my wrist. Again, external rotation of my humerus, my upper arm on my right, and I bring my thumb more toward the ceiling. Pinky more toward the floor. Come up and over with that. Back on our knees. Left foot comes out. Toe directly toward the ceiling. And left arm on the thigh. My back toes I'm up on my back toes because as I come over for the side angle, again, I rotate my arm externally so my thumb's more toward the ceiling. And I like to do a twist back to catch my left fingers on the outside edge of my right heel. I don't pull around. I use my torso. I use the abdominal muscles of my torso to do that. And then I come back up and over, rotate that left ankle to where the toe points directly the same as your hips. Get a little weight on the outside edge of that if possible. I'm down on the top of my back foot, and then I come up and over. And think now, long line between your foot, your knee, your hip, your ribs, your left shoulder, and right on out your arm to your fingers. External rotation, thumb more toward the ceiling. There you go. Now, of course, with any of my classes, as I like to point out, number one, be safe. If it's not for your body, don't do it. Only take the poses to about 75 to 80% of your maximum stretch or your maximum bend, your maximum capability, so you can sustain your yoga practice. And all bodies are different, so even though I may be able to do something, maybe your body doesn't like to do it, so don't do it. Stop. You don't have to do anything that I do. Certainly, this is your yoga, your class, and it's up to you to keep yourself safe All my videos, every single one of my videos, are just for observational reasons only. They're definitely not to tell you that you have to do something in a certain way. Everybody's individual, and you take care of your own body the way that you like to do it. Just a little disclaimer there that these are only for humor sometimes, and for entertainment, and it's up to you to keep your own body safe. Thank you for that. Now, we're just going to stand up, and I just want to do a little bit of alignment practice now in a Warrior 2, and then we'll do Trikonasana after that. So come to the top of your mat, and then take your right foot and take a nice generous step back with that right foot. And what I like to do, I like to line up my front heel with my back heel on the mat. Sometimes people like to line up the front heel with the arch of the back foot. Some people like to bring that back foot a little bit farther forward, toward your toes. Whatever's good for you is fine. Whatever feels good to your body is fine. Now, I'm just going to describe the way I like to do a Warrior 2. Feels good to my body, and perhaps yours is a little bit different. So, I'm going to rotate my back foot to where my toes are a little bit more toward the front of the mat than my heel. My toes are about a 30 to 45 degree out toward the side of the mat. I got weight in my heel. I got weight on the outside edge of that back foot that helps me lift my arch. My front foot is in line with the mat. My heel of my front foot is in line with the heel of my back foot. My toes are spread. I've got equal weight across the ball of my foot, in between the not the ball of my foot, but where the ball of your foot, at the base of your toes. I got equal weight across all that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to push into the front of that foot. As I push into the front of that foot, it helps me open up this hip area right here. So I push into the front of that foot, it helps to open up this hip. Torso is nice and straight, so I'm not leaning forward, I'm not leaning back, leaning sideways or back. It's centered directly over to where I've got equal weight on my legs. Now, I'm going to, Warrior 2 is where you take and you bend your forward knee to where your forward knee is directly over your forward ankle. In this case, it's my left leg forward, so my left knee is directly over my left ankle. Weight's on the back. Now is when the arms come up, and the arms, palms face the floor, supinate face the floor, fingers spread, and the arms are directly in line of the axis over the legs. Left arm over my left leg, right arm over my right leg. Sometimes, depending on the flexibility of your shoulders, it may not allow that, or even your torso may not allow that. So whatever alignment you get is okay. But the alignment what I'm going to describe today is the way I like to do Warrior 2. So I've got alignment forward back. It is a little bit of a balance challenge here, balance pose, side to side. So that's good. Balance is use it or lose it, so it's good to use it. So this is Warrior 2. Think about the position of your torso. Is it forward? If so, bring it back. If it's back, if you're getting a little crunch in this one side, bring it forward. I like to think of the pillars. There's 4 pillars on either side, 2 in front and 2 in back. 4 pillars, all should be the same length, because my torso from my hips, and my hips are level. If I put a level across my hips, my back might be a little bit higher, just a little bit higher, but they're pretty level. They are rotated to the side, so the direction of my hip points, the iliac crest, is directed out kind of toward the direction of my back foot, kind of about a 45-degree angle out. Arms are parallel with the floor. Now I can, if I like, I can bring my back arm up and create a mudra where I touch my forefinger to my thumb, and I come into my forearm is vertical, my humerus, my upper arm is horizontal, and I turn my head to where my gaze is over my forward arm. And this is warrior 2. Big inhale, big exhale. Inhale, exhale. Back leg is straight. My back leg is straight. Sometimes if I start thinking about another part of my body, then I kind of lose concentration. My back knee starts giving, my leg kind of gets weak. So I'm thinking my back leg, I engage that thigh, engage the quad, straightens out that back leg. Very good. Now come up, rotate your feet around the other way. I line up my heels. I bring the heel of my back foot a little bit farther toward the back of my mat than the toes. Weight on the outside edge of my back foot. Forward foot, a little weight toward the toes, a little weight on the toe edge of my forward foot helps to open up my hip here. Bring my right knee over my right ankle. Engage my back quad. Arms up, directly over my legs. I can see my alignment. My torso. If you have a mirror, this works really good. It works great with the camera here. So if you got a computer, you can just fire it up. Just you don't have to do a recording. Just fire it up, see what you look like. But it really helps to see. I'm stretched too far forward, too far back. You know, all these alignment cues. Back arm, if you like, and form this mudra. Thumb and forefinger touch. The other 3 fingers are out. And my gaze is directly over my forward hand, warrior 2. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then straighten that forward leg. We're just going to walk out of that for a second. We could go directly into triangle pose from there, but we'll set up triangle. And I'm going to do triangle facing the camera to show the alignment that I like to use in triangle pose. So, top of my mat, Tadasana. We learned about Tadasana alignment. I'm going to take my right foot up, generous step back again. Same kind of step back as warrior 2. I line up my heels, back foot, weight on my forward foot, just like I did in warrior 2. So my lower body is lined up just like warrior 2. Now my heels are lined up. Now I'm going to come up. This time I leave my forward leg straight. If your knees tend to hyperextend, you can have a micro bend in your knees, but generally your legs are straight and your quads are engaged. It helps to keep those legs straight. Arms come up in alignment with your legs. Now, weight on your forward foot, open up this hip, and then reach across the room before you come down, reach across the room, and then what I like to do is bring my forward hand down onto my forward leg. And it can be anywhere. It can be above your knee, it could be on your knee, just don't push too much weight, or it can be down just below your knee. Your back arm can be on your hip, or it can come on up, and here's warrior two. Your head, and this is a hard part for me, the alignment of my head and my neck should be in alignment with my body. You don't need to come down too far in this. Now, here's another cue. You can see me moving around a little bit because what I want to emphasize for me, for the alignment for me, I like my forward shoulder directly over my forward leg and ankle. Sometimes, if my hips stick back, then my forward shoulder comes out forward of my leg. So now I'm not looking straight down. If I get in alignment again, I can look straight down from my head to my shoulder to my leg. So head, shoulder, knee, ankle. Boom. Alignment. If I stick my hips back, then I got my head clear out over here. Then my shoulder is a little bit closer, across my mat. But then my ankle's even farther across. So nothing lines up. Nothing underneath my head, my shoulder, nothing underneath my shoulder except for mat. Nothing underneath my leg there. And my hips are clear out the back. Same going the other way. If I stick my hips too far forward, then my forward shoulder is on the outside of my forward foot. So for me, the alignment that feels best is to have everything right in line. And then we bend that forward knee and come up and out. And then we're going to do the other one, but I'm going to show you the way I like to do the alignment. With my torso. So there we focus on kind of the alignment forward and aft. Here I'm going to take a generous step back with my left foot and I line up my heels, my legs, just like I did in Warrior 2. Arms come up, little weight on that forward, open up that hip, and I'm going to reach forward. Before I come down, I'm going to reach forward. Notice my torso now. We're going to focus on the torso from the hips to the shoulders, the 4 pillars I just talked about. Reach forward, and then I can come down. And for me, I'm aligned, shoulder over ankle. I'm aligned. Now I think about my torso. Generally, when I come into this, I'm going to exaggerate here. You can see my upper torso from my hips to my shoulder now has a pretty good bend in it. It's kind of like when we're doing gate pose, Parigasana. It's pretty good side bend. What I like to do, and plus my head follows it right over. Trikonasana, all 4 pillars should be the same length if possible. So lower this lower side body, the way I like to think about it, lower the lower side body toward the mat. That brings the upper side body down. So instead of that, like that, and it straightens out your 4 pillars, lines your 4 pillars, plus my head starts to get in alignment. Instead of this, bring it like this. My arm, you can keep your arm on your waist. That's not the issue. Is not your arm. Your arm, whatever your shoulder likes to do, just do whatever you want to with your arms. But the alignment of your body, this is where interoception comes in, is if I really curve my upper elongate my upper body so my pillars are real long on the upper side, short on the lower side. I can feel inside my body a crunch on the lower side. And I can feel a big expansion on the upper side. Trikonasana, triangle pose, is not a lateral bend. So straighten out those pillars. Now I get long. Now I feel inside my body. I feel, yeah, lower side is nice and long. And my upper body now is not stretched out. It just feels very similar to the lower body. My head's right in alignment with the torso. And then I'm going to bend this forward knee. I'm going to come up and out. Arms up and overhead. Bend at the elbows. Hands together in Anjali Mudra. And come right behind the head. Stretch those triceps out. Elbows right toward the ceiling. We come around, we wrap our arms. Bend forward at the shoulders. Fly out, wrap your arms the other way. Forward at the shoulders. And then come out, and we're just going to jump or step back into Tadasana. So there's our alignment for today. Thank you for joining me in our yoga practice today. And we will do some more fun stuff. May our thoughts be peaceful. May our words be peaceful. And may our heart be peaceful. Namaste.